You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 179. Well, hello and welcome to this episode of the Small and Supercharged podcast. It is a solo with me. And as I was thinking about what to talk about this week, something flew into my view on Instagram, which is, of course, the addition of links for everybody. So, last week, the head of Instagram, who absolutely awesome account, if you want to know anything about Instagram, anything about like the changes, how they're developing, follow him, because there are loads of accounts on Instagram that talk about these changes, but they tend to get the information from him. So if you want to be in the same area, his name is Adam Mosseri. I believe that's pronounced correctly. I have done some research, so Adam, if you're listening and I've got that wrong, I'm really sorry. But his account is at Mosseri. That is his Instagram account, and it's brilliant. I really like the way he speaks. I like the way he explains things. Go and have a look. He is the head of Instagram, and he announced last week that links were going to be available to everybody. This is the link sticker. So, as we know on Instagram, you cannot include a hyperlink in your caption on a normal post. I mean, you can, but it won't do anything, so don't bother. It just doesn't look right. But what we can do, there are different ways that we can link to external sources. One has been, till now, if you had over 10,000 followers, you would get a link sticker. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what used to be swipe up. I'm going to go back in time as well. But the link sticker is a really useful way of allowing people to go from your Instagram to an external website. If you haven't heard that this is changing, it used to be over 10,000 followers, you would have access to, used to be swipe up, which is when you were chatting away, you could also swipe up for more information. People could swipe up from the bottom of their phone and they would go to the link that you would include. There are other ways you can get links onto stories and onto different places, but I'm not going to go into that now. I'm just focusing on this one. But now the link sticker is available to everybody. It doesn't matter what size your account. So if you don't know where this is, I am going to help you. If you do, it won't take a minute. And then I'm going to talk about why it's a good thing, why it might not be a good thing. I know, controversial, and hopefully some ways to avoid it. So what I'm going to do now is, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just open up your phone, add a story. So I'm just going to take a picture on mine. And then at the top, you've got your download, your audio, your effects, and then you have got the sticker. If you tap on the sticker, you should see, for me, it is second line in the middle, a link sticker, which is, mine's white with blue. If you tap on that, you can then add a different link, a different URL that is not connected to Instagram at all. It can go wherever you like. And this will mean that when people tap on that sticker, they will be transported there straight away. So obviously this has got its advantages, but I think it's also got some things to be aware of that could be disadvantages. So let's go back in time, what it was like before this. So it used to be that people worked incredibly hard to get to the 10K. I know I did. Really, really hard to get to 10K, because when you got to 10K, you had this additional function. Now, if you had things like shops, if you were a brand that sold physical products and you could have shops, there were ways that you could get links in your stories that would allow people to go directly to your shop. But if you wanted to link anything else, again, there were a few ways you could do it, but most of the time you would be chatting away in stories and you'd be saying, for example, the podcast, as you're listening now, comes out every week. And I would generally, before I got the 10K swipe up, I would be saying things like, this is what I'm talking about this week. This is who I've interviewed. It's really, really great. Yada, yada, yada. Go to the link in my bio and listen to the podcast. Now, the link in my bio is a link tree. So when you tap on that, you've got a variety of different places where you can go from that point. So one is the podcast. One is my website. There's lots of different things there. So there are a lot of different steps there that people would have to take. They'd need to stop watching the story they were watching. Then they would need to go back out to my profile. They would need to tap on the link to the link tree link. Then they would need to tap on the location, and then they would get to where they wanted to go. So before I got the swipe up, That's what I would do. Then, when I got to over 10,000, I had the swipe up, which was awesome, because then I could chat away and say to listen, swipe up. And again, it's just that one action. Okay, it's a swipe, but it's one action rather than going, stop the story, find the profile, find the link within the link, then you're there. It was just one swipe up, which is much better. It makes it much easier for people to do what you want to do. Then not that long ago, for me, really not very long ago, a lot of people talking about it happening said that they had it, but I've only fairly recently had the link. I still had the swipe up for quite a while. So then what it was instead of having the swipe up link, so people just swiped up, and you could obviously add GIFs and stuff to instruct people what to do that you wanted them to swipe up, and you could talk about it and add captions. What you then had was the link, and the link is just as I've described now. You took people to that location. So for me, I'd usually have the Apple Podcast link because I think most people listen to it through there. If I'm wrong, do tell me. And I would have that as the link that I would then just have on the stories, and I would make sure that link was repeated when I was talking about the podcast. But that's one example. Now, another example is, if you haven't seen, spoiler alert, no, spoiler alert actually, because I announced it on Friday, is that I'm running another social sessions over at Willow Barn on the 19th of November. Oh, I really hope it's the 19th. It is Friday the 19th of November. We're running a full day workshop over at Willow Barn, the social sessions one, talking about how to be authentic online. We're having a content creation workshop where we're encouraging people to bring their own props, and we're also talking about scheduling and planning for the last quarter of the year and a little bit into 2022. But I've been able to talk about that on Instagram stories, and I will continue to. If you want the link, send me a DM and I will send it to you. But if you are watching my stories and I'm talking about it, I'm able to just get that link to the booking page and say, tap the link below for more information, and people can find out everything and book with ease. Again, rather than saying, go here, do this, tap this, I'm just simplifying that process. So really, really useful. It's particularly useful if you don't have the shop function, if you're a brand, or if you have got the shop function, but you create other content as well. Maybe you create blogs or vlogs, or you want to link to other people's content for various reasons. Really useful. So that was great. But recently, last week, it was announced that all accounts would have access to the sticker, which I think is definitely positive because it allows people with smaller accounts to grow. And I guess as well, what I think anyway, is it allows people to really develop into what they want to be. So again, for example, if you are an influencer and you want to work with lots of different brands and you want to work with, you want to talk about like the looks you're putting together or the blog where you've included all these different people, if you can actually allow people to go and view that easily, if you can allow people to go and look at the product that you're talking about easily, that's all a big win, rather than not being able to compete on quite the same footing until you get to a certain size. So I think this is really great if you are an influencer and you are looking to develop your own content. Maybe you're a YouTuber, maybe you like writing long form blogs, maybe you like doing podcasts, maybe you are really mad about a different social media platform that isn't Instagram. I think it's a great way to say, come over and join me, tap the link below, rather than, if you'd like to join me, link in the bio, etc., etc. I think if you're trying to kind of curate things, so you're trying to go, oh, actually, here's some great looks for autumn, winter, again, rather than saying, oh, it's here, but it's a real faff to get to, it's much easier. And I think that's really, really good. I think as well, it's great because it shows brands, whether it's brands that you work with or brands that you would like to work with, you are actively promoting them. So if you've bought something, let's say, with your own money and you really love it and you're saying, oh, I've got this, I'm really thrilled, isn't it great? You can put that link into your story where people can go and find out more. So that is all a big plus. So for brands, it's awesome, whether or not you have the shop. For brand ambassadors, it's also really good. I think it just allows you to be more useful, even more useful. So again, rather than just tagging the brand, you can also put that link in if they're launching a new thing. Even if you're sharing some of their posts, if you're saying, oh, really love this outfit, really love this look, love these boots, and you're sharing from their grid, you can then add the link in as well, so people can then find it. And I think if you are working with a brand as well as like an affiliate, please do make sure you declare this properly. Go and look at the ASA guidelines. If you're working with an affiliate, again, it's easier to get your link in there rather than saying link in bio. It's much, much easier. I do think, though, this addition could compromise the quality of content on Instagram. And I think this is something that as a content creator, as an influencer, as a brand ambassador, as just a user, we need to be really, really aware of. And I think it's important that we talk about this, hence I'm here. So what might happen, let's say you are a vlogger, let's say you make amazing videos, and before now you've always only been able to put like a go to link in my bio. And now you've got the ability to move people over really quickly. But I'm saying concern in inverted commas, because really it's not, it's not a concern that I'm losing sleep over, but it's something that I think will possibly happen, is that now because people can go straight there, I think we might see a drop off in the quality of kind of native content on the platform. So this will then potentially prevent people from getting to know you better, because you are in effect limiting what you're putting out on the platform itself, because you're thinking, well, I've done it in one place, they can just go over there and look at it. Whereas before you would have to entice them to take that next step. You would maybe put on, a few stories which were like clips from a longer form video, or maybe you chat about a podcast to get them interested, to whet their appetite. I think the concern, or something that may happen, is that instead of doing that, some people will just go, well, it's here, go and look at it. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. I think the option of links for everyone is going to be really good. But I think that if we're not aware of how people use the platform, it's got the ability to make the experience not as good for the users of the platform. So I know when I am meant to be watching something on television and I've opened up my phone and I'm scrolling through Instagram, I've made the decision to be on Instagram. I've made the decision to scroll people's content, to look at what they're up to look at lovely pictures, to watch reels, to watch stories. I've made the decision to be there. So if I'm watching something and I've got sort of some snippets from a vlog, some bits about a blog, some stories that have been captioned about a blog, because I tend to watch a lot of stuff on silent. And I'm thinking, gosh, that sounds really interesting. And they've added the link, but they've put the time into creating that content that I can consume where I am to get me interested. I feel like I'm much more likely to click that link, to tap on that link, to go and look at it, because I know what I'm going for. So I'm having to leave where I decided to be and what I thought I may find to go somewhere else. But because I know that the other place is going to tick more of my boxes for what I want from that experience, I'm happier to go. If I opened up a story and it was someone saying new vlog with a link, I'd kind of go, cheers, thanks a lot. What's making me click on that? Again, new blog. Okay, great. Why do I want to leave what I know and why I've come here to go and look at something else that I'm not that interested in? Or I might be interested in, but I don't have enough information to tap on the link, open a new window. And like, it's not, I don't have to go and actually open a window. I don't have to move my backside off the chair. But when we sort of open these places, that's where we choose to be. And I think it's really important that we remember that. That's why if we're posting on, I don't know, if we're talking about our vlog or our video on Facebook, it's a good shout to either put the video onto Facebook, because that's where people have decided to be and you can have different functionality there. Or make sure you do a long enough trailer in inverted commas so people watch it and go, actually, this is really cool. This is interesting. I want to go and find out more. That is my only thing. But I think it's very navigatable. You can get around it. I think just by thinking about how we use the platform ourselves as users, we can make sure that when we are using those links, when we're using those link stickers, we're using them really, really well, and we're using them to enrich the experience of the platform for our fans and followers, in addition to getting the outcome that we want. You know, if you've written 1,000-word blog about something really close to your heart, you want people to go and read that. Of course you do. But make sure you're not just saying, go and read my blog. Tell them what it's about. Do some stories talking about it. Add the link in. Pull some quotes up from it. And do some quotes about, pulling the quotes out of the blog to get people excited, to get people over. Make sure you're giving people that information to make that choice. I think if that's done, the link sticker is absolutely brilliant. I just don't feel that we can neglect the platform by not giving enough information to our fans and followers to ask them to change their plans for that few moments of time. I do think it's got huge, huge value, and I think it's really great it's been rolled out to everybody. But I think it's really important that we still treat the platform as that place where we can talk and we can share, and not just expect people to jump around. Overall, it's clearly awesome. It's going to give us all so many opportunities to read more, learn more, see more, share more, support more, talk about things close to our heart more. And this doesn't always have to be stuff that we're creating. It could be things from other brands, other businesses, other influencers, other charities, other things close to our heart. And I think that is completely awesome. But just my little word of warning, because, I'm here to help, is that make sure you give people enough information. I have to say, when I got the swipe up, I thought, oh, this is brilliant. I'm going to use it all the time. And I don't. And I don't think that's a negative. I use it strategically. So you'll see that podcast, I use it for the podcast every week. I say, tap on the link to go and listen to the podcast because I want people to listen to the podcast. If I'm doing a webinar or a seminar or something like that, or running the workshop, I will put the link in there. Because I want people to go and look at it. Obviously, I want them to book their tickets, book their spaces. But I always try as well to make sure I'm giving people enough information to make them take that jump. But also a lot of the time, I'll just chat on stories. I'll share the posts I do every day, but I'll just chat on stories. But I always try really hard to make sure that when I include that link, I have given them enough information to take that step. You may disagree, that's completely fine, but I always try to make sure that there's enough there, whether they're at that moment or I've done it before or I'll do it after, to take that step. And I would really urge you to think about that. So when you use that link sticker, think about it from your fan and follower point of view. Is there enough there to entice you to click, to tap? There probably is, but I just think it's worth keeping in mind. I'd love to know what you think on this. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm right? I'm absolutely fine with either. I would love your thoughts. Please do screenshots, share to stories, and tag me if you tune in and let me know, are you excited about the link sticker? Do you think you're going to use it a lot? Do you think what I've said is valid, or do you think I'm completely wrong? As I said, I'm fine with either. I just think it's a great opportunity, because one of the real limitations of Instagram has been the inability to link to different websites, podcasts, things like that. And I think that's been, in some ways, it's kind of really cool because it keeps everything on the platform, but very frustrating if you cannot share 1,000-word blog on the platform, but actually it's a really good blog, or you cannot share a podcast on the platform, but it's something you want people to listen to. So I think that has been a bit limiting. Obviously, with things like shops, if you're a brand, having that ability to tag products has been awesome and kind of reduced that barrier. And I think that this is a really positive step. But, I was thinking about it in great detail, and I just felt like it was worth the chat, because I want you to all use the link sticker well. I want it to work really, really well for you, and I want people to be tapping on your link stickers. But I think it's really important to just keep in mind when people make that decision, to decide where they're going to be. We've got to honour that, and we've got to make sure we're creating content that's going to keep them watching our stuff as well, watching and engaging with our content as well as clicking the link. I think we've got to do the two. If you'd like more information on anything to do with social media, PR, marketing, brand building, all of the things, do check out my Small and Supercharged Mastermind group. That's over at riafreemanpr.co.uk, and along the top you will see Small and Supercharged Mastermind. It would be lovely to have you there. This is my membership group where each month we have a marketing masterclass, a mindset masterclass, weekly lives, social media trainings, opportunities, and an incredible community. Be great to see you there. And if you haven't joined the free group yet, do make sure you do. Just search Small and Supercharged on Facebook. It is the burgundy one. Thanks so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope it's been useful. Do let me know what you think about links. And as I said, please do screenshot and share to stories if you tune in. Take care, and we'll catch up really, really soon. Bye.